Hello and welcome. Today we are going to talk about animator state behaviors. Now, we will make a good script today. It is completely customizable, has a lot of stuff, and all in one script. Now, I have these three animations for attacks, but I need to add some audio effects and delay them a bit, and instantiate effects and modify animator parameters. Now we will gonna do this by adding a behavior and calling it animator behavior. Now open it in Visual Studio. I will remove these comments and open our method that comes automatically with the script. I'm so nervous right now. I will not be using these two methods. Now start with the public parameters or the parameters. Now I would like to keep my script tidy and clean, so I will start by making 4 headers for 4 sections. Four. The first one will be trigger section, and let's make 3 more. Copy paste 3 times. One for float section, and let's add another one for boolean section. Finally, integer section. Now let's start with the triggers. Let's have a public string with a trigger name that we want to set. Trigger to set. And let's have a public trigger, public string, sorry, a public string trigger to reset. Now we know that triggers can be set and reset. So set means true, reset means false. So let's make 2 booleans to control what we want to do. So if we want to just set to true, and we want to just reset to true. We want them both, we check them both. We don't want anyone, we don't check anyone. So move to the float section. We will have a public string, the float name, so float to set, and have a public float to set to the value of the float you want to set to. And now for the boolean section, have a public string, boolean name, bool to set, and another public bool, the value of it, so bool to set to. I typed string, but it is bool. I will reconfigure it. Sorry for my stupidness. I am real nervous. Now for the integer, public string, integer to set, a string name, the integer name, and public int. Sorry, I will change it. I am recording this audio after I finished recording my video. So now let's create 3 bools for every section to determine on what method or state we want to make our modifying. So 3 public bools, one for set on start, set on update, and set on exit. simply start when you start to enter your state in the animator. It will be triggered. Update is like update, but when you in state, or it's like on trigger stay or something. And when you exit the state, it is when you exit on trigger exit or something like that. Now make this for all of our 3 other sections. Rename them. Set float on start, set float on update, set float on exit, and similar bool on start, bool on update, and integer as well. Now let's enter the method. Finally, here let's start by checking if we want to set on update, then we will set. So if set on update is true, we will do our coding. So we need to set our trigger, but we need to check if set the trigger is true, and if it is, then set the trigger. And similarly check if reset trigger is true, then we want to reset the trigger. If reset the trigger is true, animator.reset trigger la la la. I would like it to be small. For the trigger now, to the float. If set float on start is true, then we want to set the float. Animator.set float to set to the string that we created up in the parameters. Set it to float to set to. Set it to the float number that you will determine in the inspector, in the animator window. Same to same with booleans and integers. I'm trying as fast as I can. And this is my tiny error that I make it a string instead of integer, and then a string instead of bool, so I will go up and fix it. Sorry for that. Now the same to update and to exit. Here is the integer instead of bool, integer instead of bool to set, integer to set, instead of bool to set to, integer to set to. Now delete this parentheses, I think. Now copy paste all of this, all of the start to the update and the exit, remembering to modify the boolean names. Instead of set on start, set on update, and here update, 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 update. The same operation for the exit. This will allow you to set any type of the 4 parameters within the animator. No code, no animation events, no anything, just values in inspector. Don't have to remind you that you have to write the string the exact same thing by the capitalization. Now let's make a small test. Let's make 4 parameters by the 4 types. So test float, test integer, test bool, and test trigger. So we can test. I think that actually makes sense. Naming is actually fun. Now here in our state, let's use a trigger. We need to set the trigger, so check the set the trigger, type the trigger name, and we want it on start. So you will notice as soon we enter the state, the trigger will be set, means true. Now look at the parameters window, and it is set. Now if we want to set and reset on the exit, means you need to attack again and again and again. So set it on update and reset it on exit. So now let's talk about the audio section. Yay! That is practice sentence. I really like this channel. I have learned a lot from it. Now let's make a header audio section. Let's make a bool to determine that we want to use the audio or not. Let's make an audio clip that will store our clip that we want to play. And let's have a public audio clip array. So if you want to play more than one clip, randomize of course, you will name it clips and name it clip, makes sense. Now make a bool to determine whether or not we want to use randomized clips. If it is false, we just will use a standard one. Sorry for the language. Let's have a float to control the volume of the audio source that we will instantiate. Let's make the audio source. Make it source prefab, name it, whatever. So in the start method, if use audio is true, then we will need to use audio. So we need to check if we want to use our random clips. If we want, then we will set our source prefab the clip to the random index of the clips array. So random.range between 0 and clips.length. If not, means we want to use our standard clip, so we need to set source.prefab.clip to the standard clip, and just like that. I would like to remove those. So now let's make a timer to delay our playing audio. So make a float timer and make a public float time to wait. So the time that we will wait to play the audio. And remember that this time will be in real time, so don't determine it by the animation percentage, just by the frames or the number beside the percentage. Then in the update, if use audio is true, then we need to instantiate our audio source at root motion at animator.root position and animator.root rotation. Now let's make another small test. We did not finish it yet. We need to use the audio, and let's set a float, for example 2. Set the float test float, set it to 2 on start. Assign an audio clip. Here I have a lot of audio clips. They are really awesome. The volume of the audio will be 0.5. Let's make a new audio source. It will be the prefab that we will instantiate. Remove it from the scene, assign it to the state. Remember to set play on awake on the prefab, or you can make a boolean for it in our animator behavior script. Set in the start method. Now we can see that it's instantiated like millions of audio sources. So we need to make a boolean to check or not we have played the audio. So boolean played, and the start method, if we want to use the audio, then set it to false. So every time you start, it will be false, and on update, if it is false, then if it is false and we want to use audio, so we must check if it is false, then we will set it to true, so we can't enter it more than one time in the one state. So now it can play one audio, instantiating one audio source. Now let's destroy our audio source after using them. We will make a script, name it self-destroy, and it is very simple actually. All we're gonna do is call destroy on the update method, game object, and make a public float to delay it and control the delay from the inspector. We will insert it as a second parameter in the destroy method, and it is as simple as this, nothing more, nothing less. So when the audio source instantiated, it will destroy itself after the number. Now it's 2 seconds. Now remember to open your audio source and add this script to it. As you can see, it's set on play and awake. Add self-destroy, 2 seconds. So now when we play and instantiate a new audio source, you will notice that it destroys itself after 2 seconds. Instantiate new one, deleted. Awesome. Now let's add it. Let's try it with the random clips. So check use random clips, and you need to be checking use audio as well. Assign 5 clips. You can use any number of clips. I will use 5. Assign them time to wait, volume. Now we can see every time the state updates, we will play our audio randomly between our audio sources or clips, sorry. Now let's add it to the other attacks and see how it will be. Sorry for the language again. Add your audio source, assign your clips, check use audio and random audio or clip. If anyone wants a tutorial about making a locomotion system and combat system in Unity, I have a pretty good enemy AI that detects us, walks right into us. When he is in a certain distance, he will start to attack us. So if anyone want any tutorial of any kind, tell me in the comments and I will see what I can do about it. Now the audio has been applied correctly, and you can see that when we exit the second state, the bubble sets. That completes our animator behavior. You can really do a lot more about it. Maybe add a particle section, instantiate a particle when something happens. Goodbye.